Welcome to Revelation Unraveled. I'm your host, William Tapley, also known as the Third Eagle of the Apocalypse and the co-prophet of these end times. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. It has started out very cold up here in the foothills of the Adirondacks. It was 25 degrees below zero this morning. And on New Year's Day, it was minus 33 degrees at my house. So I'm looking forward to a January thaw. And I am promoting the March for Life this month, and I hope as many of you as possible can attend. I would like to myself. I went to about 25 years in a row, but lately I have felt it a little bit beyond my capabilities. And in this program, I want to talk about the possibility of the Antichrist going public. And the reason I say that is because this is the year 2018. And 18 is another expression of 6 plus 6 plus 6. And 666 is the number of the Antichrist in Bible prophecy. And in the book of Revelation, John speaks twice that you need wisdom and understanding. Those are the only two times he uses that phrase. And both times he is talking about sacred numerology. So it's very important for us to understand the meaning of 666. And I've explained many times before that that is derived from the fraction 2/3, which indicates man before or over God, which yields the decimal point 666, as we all know. And the decimal which defeats that is derived from the fraction 3/2, when you put God in his rightful place over mankind. And you get 1.5 or 15. We don't count decimals in Bible prophecy, and 15 expresses 5 plus 5 plus 5. And that simply means that Mary's rosary is going to defeat the Antichrist. In other words, we are involved. And in Bible prophecy, we don't know exactly when the Antichrist arrives. The Bible does not give a date, but it does give a sequence. In Daniel chapter number 7, we know there are 4 beasts that come up out of the sea. The first beast is a lioness. The second is a bear. The third is a leopard. And the fourth and final beast is the Antichrist. And we know the first 3 beasts have already come and gone. The first beast was, I suspect, Margaret Thatcher. It might be Queen Elizabeth. The second beast, the bear, was Dmitry Medvedev. And of course, the third beast, we all know, was the leopard, Barack Obama. And I told you this 9 years ago when he was running for president the first time. So the first 3 beasts have come and gone. All we are looking for now is the 4th beast, the Antichrist. And there is a sequence also in the book of Revelation which tells us when the Antichrist arrives in relation to the false prophet. The Antichrist there is described as the beast from the sea, but before he comes on the scene comes wormwood. And wormwood is John's term for the false prophet. And we know the false prophet is already on the scene. He is, in fact, Pope Francis. So we are due for the Antichrist. And the question is, will the Antichrist arrive on the scene this year? I have a suspicion that he won't, but I'm not guaranteeing that. There are 2 other people involved in end times prophecy, and that would be the prophets Enoch and Elijah. Will they be assassinated before the Antichrist arrives? Well, we know from Bible prophecy that they are killed by the beast from the abyss. Not the Antichrist, by the way. Don't listen to the false prophets. The beast from the abyss is the one world government, and that is on the scene already. But there's nothing that says that the Antichrist may not be on the scene before they are assassinated. So I can't tell you exactly the sequence as far as they go. Now, if the Antichrist comes on the scene and attacks the United States, which he has prophesied to do, will Donald Trump be able to defeat the Antichrist with our help? Well, let's see what Micah chapter 5, verse number 5 says. And this man, now I've been saying all along that this man is Donald Trump, shall be our peace when the Assyrian, now the Assyrian is both Isaiah and Micah's code word for the Antichrist, shall come into our land. Now, the our land in this case is not Israel. I believe the our land refers to the United States because we're talking about Donald Trump. When he shall set foot in our houses, this invasion by the Antichrist is going to be very pervasive. Now, some Bible prophecy says instead of houses, they say fortresses, but either way, it will be a devastating attack. And we, that shows you that we are involved in this battle, shall raise against him, against the Antichrist, 7 shepherds and 8 princes. So these will be our leaders, but also look at that numerology. 7 plus 8 equals 15. And as I just told you, that is Mary's rosary. And the only way Mary's rosary is recited is through our prayers. That's the we part. And Micah chapter 5, verse number 6. And they. Now, this does not refer back to the 7 shepherds or 8 princes. I suspect this is Trump's generals or his military. Shall feed the land of Assyria with the sword, and the land of Nimrod with the spears thereof. This would be the land that the Antichrist comes from, and we'll talk about that in a second. And he shall deliver us from the Assyrian when he shall come into our land, and when he shall tread in our borders. So now let's take a look at an image of the Antichrist. And I've showed you this before, and it's very interesting. This was in that Murmuration of Birds video, and it's still on YouTube. You can still find it. And I've talked about this many times before. And I believe the Antichrist is this central figure here, the one who looks like a clown. This, most people say, is Putin. I am beginning to see this as Pope Francis. And of course, over here on the left, we have a demon, and that would be Satan. In other words, this is the unholy trinity of the end times. I have suggested that the Antichrist would be Erdogan. His features are similar to the features of this image here. But it could be that this is simply telling us that the Antichrist is a clown. So I am not saying exactly that that is Erdogan. Notice that the Antichrist shares an eye with Satan. And the reason I mention that is because we have another image of the Antichrist. And this is from a Vatican logo from the Year of Mercy. And I've showed you this before. And this is not Jesus. I believe this is an image of the Antichrist. I mean, that's not who they say it is. Notice the shared eye with this figure that he is carrying. This figure he is carrying is feminine, very much like the feminine figure of the Satan in the bird murmuration video. And I mentioned the shared eye. So it could be that the Antichrist is going to look like Jesus. I think that's what this Vatican logo is telling us. So, in conclusion, I'm not saying the Antichrist is going to come this year. I don't know. I think we may very well see the Daniel 9 war first, which affects Israel. The Jewish teenager Natan said that would occur last year, but through our prayers and sacrifices, we have held it off. If it occurs this year, you can be sure the Antichrist will be close behind. And on my next program, I want to talk about the fate of the Catholic Church in this year, 2018. And since my last video, I have had quite a few contributions, so I want to thank very much Rasheen from Northern Ireland. That's how he told me to pronounce it. Rasheen. Thank you very much, Rasheen. Northern Ireland. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Zoltan, thank you very much, Zoltan. Ian, I-A-N. Jennifer, thank you, Jennifer. Henry, Elaine, and Larry from Texas. So thanks to all of you for helping me out in my book project. And if some of you would like to help, just click on the PayPal button, either on my YouTube channel or on my ThirdEagleMedia.com website.